I would really hope that they try to give Nuguri some other champion in top. You have red side, you have counter pick available.
I want to see Showmaker just pull out the vein, just go full nuke duck into this one.
I'd like to see that too, actually. To be completely honest,
we've already seen it, and it worked damn well here in the LCK. But Teddy going to be back on the Ezreal this time around. Doesn't want to be Dravening anyone blind. He's going to pick that one up immediately. Urgot. Udyr. Pretty standard stuff here to be hovered. 10 seconds to go before Faker actually makes up his mind on what they want to pick, and it looks like the bottom lane just to get rounded out here is the Braum. Picked up for Mata, infamous champion for Mata, but he's played so many games on it. As DAMWON, what is going to be this final pickup? And this is a pretty simple lane. Just get the Kai'Sa again for Nuclear, who had a great game in game number 2. Largely to do with the fact that Hoyt was there beside him on the Rakan, keeping him completely safe with absolutely nothing to worry about. Now killer instincting around the bottom lane is what Nuclear is going to be able to do, as Camille is going to hit the bench and SKT's jungle pool becomes a little thinner.
And so if you're DAMWON Gaming, you probably just look to pinch only junglers now. There's no real worry to try to hit anything else. There's too many options available still for top and mid with that Galio still being on the table. Galio can go top. Not really that common.
Yeah, Smeb flexed it earlier on in the season, but it's the only time. We've also seen it flex to the bottom side of the map as Joker played that in the support position. The sandbox to a victory as well somehow.
Zach.
Yeah, Zach being targeted here against Clid. Maybe looking for something like the Lee Sin and going to play something against it. On the side of Canyon, Xin Zhao still available and should occupy this last remaining ban slot. If I was to put some money on a prediction. Still thinking a long time though, so I wonder what the plan is here for SKT.
Still available as well.
And the Akali is what's going to be banned. So just going to get rid of that high tier pick, and DAMWON Gaming not going to be able to grab that one here, but can get the Xin Zhao for Canyon if they would like to. I wonder how Clid's Jax play has been, because that has been the answer to the Xin Zhao so far.
We'll see what they want to do here. I think that you just pick the jungle.
Okay.
Okay, now that could be mid too.
Theoretically.
In theory, that could still be a mid, so they're not necessarily showing where this Sion or Talia is going yet. That can make it very difficult for SKT to draft at this point. DAMWON Gaming have a very well-rounded composition thus far, though. And SKT hovering... Okay, Khan says, you know what? Let me try one more time.
We're running it back. Okay, well, see whether we can have better luck up against Noguri this time. Most likely on the Sion again, but can, of course, get something else, bring that one towards the top side. Olaf going to be the decision here for Clid, wanting to have a little bit more power earlier on. Lee Sin, of course, does like to play around that level 6 a lot, despite what you saw in game number 1. So the Olaf should be able to run up and cause a bit of a ruckus, and of course, was the answering pick into Talia all of 2018.
I think you go Vayne here. You could just go Vayne. They're hovering Aurelia. Now, this is not the patch where Aurelia gets nerfed, so she still does deal her bonus damage to minions. She's still a menace.
Yep, you can still Blade Surge your way around a minion wave and clear it out. But
and
still don't know where it's going to be going exactly. Yeah. This could be the lane matchup and be very bruiser heavy on the top side. This could be explosive between a Jace and an Aurelia. I'm looking at it thinking that the Jace probably going to have a pretty decent time, but if Noguri hits that level 6, gets the combo, we all know what happens.
And if I had to choose, I would prefer to see Nuguri on the Aurelia rather than Showmaker. See more carry potential, try to give him advantage up in top lane. And like I was saying, DAMWON Gaming's team composition, very, very well-rounded. SK Telecom's needs to get ahead in multiple lanes.
Yeah, and does have a lot of tools to do that. You know,
yes.
Clid can just run in with the Ragnarok and get a hero's entrance on top of him. This Olaf can certainly dictate a lot of the early pace of this game. But you can see the control in the draft that's available for DAMWON Gaming. They have a lot of options and certainly a lot of late game options to get themselves in there. Faker is now the one wielding the Galio, and that has always worked out for SKT so far. Can they do it in a game 3? That hasn't been something that they've been able to do so far in 2019.
And here's the team composition. Aurelia, Talia, Sion, Kai'Sa, and Tahm Kench. Lots of scaling inside of this team composition. Lots of explosiveness at 1, 2, and 3 items. Several champions that just don't slow down, so they have that going for them. Whereas SKT Telecom, not as fortunate.
No, certainly not, but I think that Talia is going to be the potential problem here. See how it does go as we hit the Rift. Aww. Still so sad. I like it when SKT goes second, because then there can actually be people yelling as everyone making their way out onto the Rift. Not going to have all of the random flashes and weirdness of game number 2. Looks a lot more controlled as the Ghost Pro comes down from Khan. He's going to set himself up with Clid. Try and have a look. The Brolaf, the purple Brolaf, one of my personal favorite Brolafs, but Showmaker chose the wrong skin, so I'm an SKT fan this game. Lumberjack Scion is always the right decision.
Well, speaking of openings and whatnot, SK Telecom playing it relatively safe, but maybe getting some sort of an idea to try to invade. No sweeper lens, though, on Mata. Not going to be able to clear that ward and then advance into the red side jungle of Canyon.
He's just throwing some pebbles out just to identify where everyone is. Looks like topside starts for both of these junglers. It's Faker moving on over. They have all of the information about where that ward is. And both teams just going to be starting this one off relatively calmly as Nogari is going to help Canyon. He's going to have a pretty good time here in this jungle, as Talia generally does, ripping through these camps, but this is a little bit sneaky from Hoyt and Nuclear, as the Q does get some extra damage onto Teddy, and that's what's going to open up this laning phase for DAMWON and SKT. And I want to see Teddy and Mata actually take some control, because the early games have not been as destructive as we've seen in the past from SKT with these two on the bottom side. Their debut in the Kesper Cup was terrifying. And since then, especially in this series, it hasn't necessarily been as much the case.
Teddy's been, for the most part, I mean, he's always what you expect. Reliable,
yes,
can deal a lot of damage. In this series so far, though, he hasn't been the monster that we know him to be. And like you mentioned, the Kesper Cup, I mean, I got to experience it firsthand.
You did. You did. I was casting that game. Didn't cast much of the Kesper Cup, but I did. I was privy to what SKT did to BBQ.
So Teddy can definitely come online and be very scary. Anyways, in this match, Olaf, you can just see he is clearing this jungle so quickly.
And do we get another redemption Olaf as well, like what Tarzan was putting together? Bit of a mad scientist from the jungle, but I liked it. Add that extra skirmishing power to your early ganks.
Now, if this gank doesn't work out, Canyon falls so far behind. Showmaker taking a really rough trade there against Faker.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, you see a lot of damage going down, but still feels a bit like a tank battle here in the mid lane. Despite Galio doing a lot of damage, Nuclear getting this one stacked up, but thankfully the Devourer is in there. Level 2 was gained by the Tahm Kench. So all that excitement that I was feeling was irrelevant because Tahm Kench is down there to ruin my day.
Showmaker getting zoned out here of a few minions. Not the end of the world, though. Faker did start Doran's Ring and Potions, so Showmaker does get the better end of the initial recall as this Corrupting Pot is going to be able to replenish itself. And, I mean, he's much healthier currently right now in the laning phase.
Yeah.
Both have that teleport available, though.
Looking like Faker is looking for a back timing. As you can see, that wave stacked up, and Showmaker actually just going to tank a lot of this wave to keep it in a decent position. 25 CS for Faker, 23 for Showmaker, nothing to worry about here, but this is where you need to worry if you're a DAMWON fan, and Canyon agrees. He's going to come in and try and change their fate. Very low on mana is Teddy, as that Winter's Bite is going to go astray. The flash immediately going to be used. No, actually, that was the Arcane Shift. Teddy still has that flash, and the Seismic Shove was good, so he has to use it.
It was a really interesting gank right there. It should have, I think, been possible for DAMWON to get a kill there, but Mata and Teddy holding their flash, not using it until Canyon was trying to knock them up.
Using the heal for the movement speed gave them a lot of ability to get out there as Nogari. He's been in this situation before. Now he knows that this is the big problem. Teleport to come in from Showmaker just to make sure that he doesn't die. And I like this defensive play. Actually saving Nogari this time instead of just feeding him to the wolves. And
even though they do get the teleport out of Showmaker, Faker had priority. Oh, he's going to be able to steal some minions away from Canyon.
Bit of popcorn chicken. Bit of popcorn chicken, but not too much.
Do you like popcorn chicken?
I do. I do. Do you have to say that you like it? Because, of course, now you work for a barbecue chicken organization. Are you priced into liking fried chicken now?
Can't answer that.
You'll be revealing things in your contract or something.
I love it so much.
There we go. There's the company man that I know. Perfect, perfect.
It's the best. If you're ever looking for a brand that, you know, sells
KFC?
excellent chicken. What?
KFC.
What did you just say?
Well, here's a fight on the top side of the map. Is Nogri very well and truly out of mana as cleared. Predatoring towards him. Canyon might be here a little bit too late. The flash does come out, but he's definitely going to die. The Pebbles not going to do anything. And Clid just wanders around the seismic shove, and Canyon slinks away.
Yeah, and this is a really good time to kill the Aurelia. Nuggery's going to be able to come back into the lane off the teleport, but removed a lot of pressure from the Jace. Nuggery no longer just gets a free recall. Now, the one thing, though, is that Nuggery already ate the entire minion wave. So he's not missing out on CS or anything. Khan, just good lane state right there. Actually a little bit surprised that he didn't just back up and then recall off this because Clid had it. Canyon, a little bit too late. Clid once again getting stuff going for SKT.
Yeah, this is the early game from game number 1 and not the early game from game number 2, and certainly a good look if you are an SKT fan. Hoyt coming on over, just going to be eating some of these raptors. Not entirely sure why.
They're not into catfish.
Yeah, he is the Master Chef version of the skin, so maybe he was just coming over there for culinary reasons.
Do you like that Tom Kent skin?
Do I like what?
Do you like that Tom Kent skin?
No, it's not my personal favorite.
What's your personal favorite?
I don't really have one for Tom Kench, so I don't know. I know you're the Tom Kench guy, but I'm not really the Tom Kench guy. I don't like the fact that he ruins my team fights with a Devour all the time. I get excited for someone to die and then they never die.
I like champions like Tom and Soraka. Champions that make the other person angry.
You're a fan of unfun.
Yeah, exactly.
A fan of and Ornn Jungle.
There you go.
That's what I know. Ornn Jungle, Annie, and things that aren't fun.
Absolutely.
So
Reading me like a book.
Karth is Tom Kench, Soraka. Let's go. All right. Maybe that's what I need to do. That's going to help build our caster synergy because, of course, guys, if you're just joining us, this is our first cast together since 2016 Worlds. It's been a long time. So our caster synergy needs some work, and maybe that's how it's going to work. I can become a Soraka one-trick or something. As Faker is looking to try and get a bit of an engagement here. Good teleport to come in for the flank as Canyon. Showmaker actually didn't quite know which way to go, but does use the ultimate to keep them in a relatively safe position. And SKT invest the teleport and get nothing.
That teleport from Hoyt was not necessary. Not quite sure why he came all the way up there.
Wanted to cycle his heal.
Yeah, I'm assuming that actually must be what it is. But look at this lane again, by the way. Look at the CS gap between Jace and Aurelia.
Whoa, that's Killer Instinct on the bottom side. Teddy and Nuclear fighting this one out. The passive proc is going to be available, but it's not exactly a lot of damage. Teddy able to give something back, but that looks damn nice for Nuclear. And a little bit of a win down there in bottom for DAMWON as he was able to repel Teddy, zone him off some CS and minions, and now Khan. I'm getting a look at him. Yeah,
excellent. I think Debonair Jace looks fantastic.
Yeah, I'm a fan. I like that one. Clid up here on the top side. Noguri is just going to go back home. Had full vision of exactly what was going on there, so Noguri going to be giving him the respect that he's due. He knows what happens here.
They can make this happen with Galio if he just starts moving over. You see where Talia is. There's no way for Sion to stop this. This is, oh man.
Yeah, and he takes that Empowered Shock Blast to the face as well, so preparing this Aurelia for death as he's trying to clear out these minions as best he can. Hero's entrance. He's going to get the knock up, and it's all too easy. Clid grabs the second, and now Canyon just going to try and even things out with a Cloud Drake here on the bottom side, but it's looking like he's struggling, trying to take that one out. Wait, gonna come over, gonna help him. But DAMWON, this is not the start that they wanted after last time dealing with SKT in Game 3s pretty decisively and cleanly.
And so they pick up the Cloud Drake, but they're losing out on tempo.
Turret plate's going down as well in favor of Khan is very, very good. Here for this roster, has a serrated Dirk already, but having extra money against the Aurelia is going to be so big for Khan in the side lane.
Take a look at this. Faker just able to move up. Sion has no way to stop him here. Hero's Entrance comes down, just plows Nuggery.
And this is what SKT are good at. I mean, I go back to it. I feel like Galio is a much more high-value ban for teams against SKT, because these are the drafts that they play well on, and they look like they're relatively uncomfortable on others. We saw game number 2 didn't quite work with their Corki Ezreal draft, and this feels like we're back to comfort once again for SKT, so maybe a little bit of a thing to look at in the draft for DAMWON, because not letting Faker play Galio or Urgot does tend to work out if you want to win against SKT.
So far, if DAMWON Gaming wants to get back into this game, they're just going to have to wait a little bit. Laning phase is going to come to an end soon. And Infernal is coming up in just under 4 minutes, so that would be an excellent pickup for DAMWON. But on the flip side, SKT would love it as well. Have that Jace, they have that Ezreal. Galio's going to love the damage too, and Redemption Olaf for Clid.
Okay, so he's going to rush it as well before completing anything. Cinderhawk might be coming in as the next option. See where Clid decides to go, but he's on the Tarzan hype train with the Redemption, and means now the skirmishing power of SKT is even bigger than it otherwise would be. And Olaf was great at skirmishing in like this early to mid game anyway, but now with that Redemption can really turn things around as well.
1k gold lead for SKT.
Yep, and this time Khan did go for the phase rush as well, understanding that he's in a more difficult matchup, so it's only one Kleptomancy to the Ezreal. Might have a bit of a reason as to why there's a slight advantage. On top of that, the First Blood's going over to SKT. Showmaker pushing things out in the mid lane. Things just very calm. No dash cannon to come in just yet. Faker wanting to get to these items, but 2 turret plates, I believe, going down in favor of Showmaker here in the mid lane. Faker paying for the fact that he has to leave on this Galio multiple times.
Right now, there's a little bit of a downtime, but Clid might try to start the Rift Herald. It's looking like he wants to posture around the left-hand side of the map. I don't think that they're going to be able to make another Galio and Olaf play against the top lane. And instead, yeah, we just see Clid starting that Rift Herald. Canyon not showing any interest in trying to go there. He might use the Weaver's wall down in bottom.
Yeah, full vision, though, available here for SKT, so they knew exactly what was going on. Control ward goes down. That's going to get cleared, and DAMWON will have some more vision control down there, but like you say, Rift Herald. Shelly should be taken. Khan comes on over with the inside track, as now Nuggery. The train's going to come in as Clid's going to get knocked up. Does manage to take down that Rift Herald, and there's the Redemption to try and get the work done, but the Vanguard's edge right into the back line, and now Clid's in trouble. Hero's Entrance coming down. That's going to stop Nuclear from continuing that killer instinct, and now Marta coming on in. Gets the flash. The Fisher is down. Nuggery going to be the first to fall. Showmaker with the Q over the wall, but not able to find any joy as Marta with the Unbreakable is going to tank everything up. And now Hoyt, stunned, not going to be delivered because the cleanse was picked up for the Tahm Kench. And DAMWON Gaming, a limp away, but SKT had a lot of control in that fight.
Yeah, and this is a really big win for SK Telecom. They managed to get the Rift Herald. There's still a minute remaining on plates if they're able to use it for that. And just take a look at this. Sion's trying to ult in. It was already too late. Too much damage done to the Rift Herald. Just a bit of time wasted with the Talia. And then all of SK Telecom is here to party. So it doesn't even matter that Tahm Kench was able to get himself into the fight with the ultimate. They were too slow to react. Canyon ended up using the time to get the Scuttle Crab, tried to go bottom. Teddy and Mata just simply backed up, and then it was too little too late. He tried to take a fight at Herald, didn't quite pan out, and now SKT find themselves in a fantastic spot as they transition into mid-game.
And Faker almost got the taunt flash, but decided not to pull the trigger. That was looking real scary. I don't know why he didn't go for the flash. Oh. But reserved play, and Faker has been making a few over-aggressive moves of late, so good to see that things are a little bit more controlled. This charge going to happen, but turret plates just fell off, like you say, so Shelly just going to do some work, trying to get that first turret of the game, get that extra global gold in Khan's pocket.
And now Infernal Drake is up, so Khan, maybe he wants to stay to try to get that turret, but Infernal should be a higher priority for both teams right now.
Well, Nuggery's up here as well, so it looks like SKT are just going to rotate around. They have the vision control of this bottom riverside, and Canyon, he's the one caught backing when that dragon spawns. Teddy and Mata hanging out over here, but nothing doing really. I think it's just the Olaf that's going to be starting on this Drake. And Hoyt being chunked is actually a big deal because he needs to be there to try and help people out. Grey health going to be eaten, so he's actually fine. Canyon just going to be taking his blue buff for now. It comes on over, but no vision available here, and that undertow was a little bit late. The dragon still hasn't been started, Elias.
Drake hasn't been started, and Nuguri does have teleport available, so you see that Jace is running back up to top lane. What this means is that Nuguri, I mean, Canyon's cleared his entire jungle. Sion has priority. Kaisa has priority right now. Jace might be the one that ends up having to commit his teleport for this dragon, and this is so sad if SKT are going to lose another dragon like this.
Well, so far they haven't. First Cloud was, of course, basically soloed out by Canyon earlier on in the game. As cleared, there's the Predator. He's looking for it. Redemption to come down. That's going to keep him a little bit more healthy. But that's actually going to be the end of him because Nuclear dives his way forward. No exhaust is going to be enough as the Fisher is traded for the life of Mata. And DAMWON Gaming find the team fight they were looking for. And SKT caught scratching their heads around this Dragon Pit.
And I don't know what to say or how this whole situation was just allowed to unfold. Khan even used his teleport, got nothing out of it. Now he's just sitting around absorbing XP away from Teddy. Oh, Sion ultimate, Weaver's Wall.
Yep, the flash was used by Teddy to get himself out of the way of that unstoppable onslaught. You'll take that trade if you're DAMWON Gaming. Teddy aggressively using the Arcane Shift, and this is the Chovy special as the Sterix Gauge has been completed for the Sion. Let's see this one again, cleared, going a little bit overly aggressive.
Leroy Jenkins just getting completely shut down by Nuclear right there, and then Mata was next to follow. Just end up wasting a lot of time. Summoner spells they did not want to commit, and now for a team that was starting off just like game number one with a lot of advantages, they find themselves behind now in the mid game. And the Jace is even behind the Aurelia.
Yeah, and actually, Nuguri had about a 20 CS lead earlier in this one as well. About 119 to like 95 or something like that. Khan, despite the fact that he has had so much focus from SKT, still falling behind when it comes to that farm. And Nuguri's getting closer and closer to the Trinity Force. And Team at Trinity Force is going to be a big spike for Nuguri. It doesn't actually matter that you're a 0-3 Aurelia. You're still going to be Aurelia come mid to late game.
Other interesting thing about this is that Khan actually elected for the Black Cleaver. Olaf's primary damage is physical, but he deals most of the stuff inside of true damage. So even though he's going to be amplifying the damage for himself, and Ezreal was expecting to actually see the lethality build come out of him, even though there was a Sion present on the enemy team.
Yeah, didn't feel like he could abuse Nuguri as much. The extra CDR is, of course, good, and he does have a gold lead. That's largely to do with the fact that there's a bit of extra global gold here for SKT, and he was able to get some of those turret plates as well. As Nuguri going to come in, looking to clear out some vision. Just ward over the wall. Aurelia not going to get punished too much for being over there. True Shot Barrage goes wide. DAMWON Gaming now A-ramming a little bit here in the mid lane, soaking these shock blasts. Not exactly an ideal scenario here for DAMWON. They really do need to get themselves into position, try and soak up some of this money around the map.
And these are the lull phases that games can enter into where not much can really be achieved. Neither team has enough ammo inside of their items to really threaten or siege down turrets. And so we just end up getting this endless bouncing of waves back and forth in the side lanes until someone decides to take a trade like that.
Is that taking a trade, or is that just being abused by a Jace?
Well, that's when you tell the kid in elementary school that you'll trade him a Snickers bar for his first edition Charizard.
Yeah.
And he says yes, so.
I know that reference all too well. Actually made me cry as Nuguri's going to flash away. A lot of buttons pressed, but just going to be trading the flashes, and the turret falls down once again. So that is going to be objective going over to SKT. Pick back up that gold lead. Nuclear here in the mid lane, though, is definitely a point of focus because we saw what his Kaisa was able to achieve in the later stages of the game, and even in the early game, his killer instincts were actually working here for DAMWON. 1-0-1 now for the ex-H2K player.
And right now, Ocean coming up in 1 minute and 40 seconds. Baron spawning in 35. Neither team going to be able to just burst that down without something horrendous happening.
Yeah, I feel like we're looking for, you know, find a pick, then find a Baron for both of the teams. Not a lot of, I guess Showmaker does have the ability to tank it for a decent amount of time, and with this tanky build from Clid, he also has some opportunities there, but Shot Barrage just going to be searching for some extra damage, but hasn't actually been picking up too much worth.
And I mean, if you're DAMWON Gaming right now, you're just waiting on the next item completions. Look at Nuclear's inventory, look at Aurelia's.
Oh, he's just running at Teddy.
SK Telecom, same story.
Yeah. Well, now we're going to start something. Yeah, Weaver's Wall going to come in. No Unbreakable actually available to stop that one as Marta does get to stand behind Teddy. Keeps himself alive. Nuclear didn't want to be tanking that turret, but I'm not sure how that happened, but Marta lives.
Managed to barely escape that. That definitely would have been the mid-tier 1 turret going down had they just fallen.
Yep, and that's not going to be a blue buff stolen. Jace wanting to try and at least challenge for that one, but doesn't get in there. He's evened out the farm quite nicely. He's going to go back home, grab his Ghost Blade by the looks of things relatively soon. Let's push this one a little further forward. And Faker's been a bit quiet over the last few minutes of this game. He's just been side laning, but is slowly but surely getting himself further ahead. Wants to get his Morellonomicon completed. Try and land on someone's head with that heroic entrance.
We have another big mid-siege starting to build up, but everyone's here from DAMWON, so it's going to have an end put to that. And some viewers might think that the game looks a little bit boring right now, but there's not much to fight over until all those items are completed. Now, DAMWON did just complete it. Trinity Force completed for Aurelia. Kaisa just got her next item.
Yeah, the Rage Blade actually just completed is huge, but Canyon getting chunked like this is a big problem. Teddy wishes he still had that ultimate that he used to clear out the minion wave. Canyon's going to be able to use the smite to get back to at least somewhere around half and continue trying to defend, because this tower has taken basically no damage. It's Khan. Acceleration Gate is in as Nagari wanted to make something happen, but none of the stuns are going to land, and this time SKT will be able to get themselves onto a Drake. The DWG Gaming actually just straight up don't care about it, because it's an Ocean Drake at 22 minutes into the game, and it's not exactly the ones that you really want to be fighting over.
Yeah. Definitely the worst dragon at this point of the game. The only time where it would sort of become relevant later is if SK Telecom can get their hands on a Baron. Anytime you have Baron buff, Ocean Drakes, they feel quite nice.
Well, Marta coming on over here, just trying to protect Teddy. Another True Shot Barrage, but it only gets onto the tanks. As SKT just looking to continue poking with the Jace. And finally, they're going to get some backs out of DAMWON. This should mean some relevant damage on this outer turret finally, as the ARAM seems to be well and truly upon us. Jace cheating by going to get some minions on the bottom side. You guys can cast your minds back to where ARAM was played on Summoner's Rift. Remember that there was always that guy that would take wraiths, you know, while you're playing an ARAM. And
I started like, in Season 4.
Oh, right. So you never played the original, the OG ARAM.
Yeah, I don't think I ever did.
Oh, man. Missed out.
Man, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, well, it's actually not. It's
remember
terrible.
Dominion?
I do. I do remember Dominion.
Oh, man.
Good times. Good times.
Good times. Rest in peace.
Uh-huh. It's fast. It's fun. Outer turret, not actually going to take too much damage here because SKT decided to go for a back themselves. But they do get Soul Vision around this Baron pit. That's what they want to do. Set up Vision, and then try and get a pick, and then try and take down the Purple Worm, and then Siege for real. The comp Siege is okay, but they don't necessarily have an auto attacker like a Caitlyn. And Ezreal doesn't quite have the range to try and smack down these turrets as effectively. Does have a lot of turret damage. But as you can see, DWG have been pretty good at removing these minion waves as they head towards these turrets. Seismic Shot not going to land, and that is actually Devour now on cooldown. That is a huge deal, as SKT don't need to respect it as much, but Teddy took a lot of damage off to the side. Redemption has to be used just to get himself back up to a relevant health bar. Showmaker's here now, so there's probably no more fun to be had here in this mid lane. There's Hoyt gonna get jumped on by Khan. A lot of damage coming in with that overcharge, but the knockups come through. Hoyt has to flash. That is a huge deal, as Showmaker trying to body block so these Mystic Shots don't hit the carries, but that one did. This could be a big deal.
I mean, this is the definition of insanity almost, though. I mean, they've sat mid for the last 5 minutes, and they've dealt maybe 500 damage to the turret. And the thing that you're looking for if you're a DWG fan or you're someone watching this is anytime Sion and Aurelia are not together, nothing should happen.
Well, he's in a lot of trouble at the moment as Jace just going to get the flash in. Nuggery's able to get out, though, and he is going to survive. Thought that was definitely going to be the kill as Weaver's Wall was thrown in there as well just to make sure that SKT couldn't follow up as easily. And Nuggery, I have no idea how you survived that, dude.
It was very, very close call right there. If he had gone down, maybe SK Telecom could have been able to achieve something, but now we're back to managing the side lanes. Sion in top, Aurelia headed down into bottom. And it does look like Sion's about to complete his next item, and maybe Aurelia as well after she finishes pushing this next wave down in bottom. Oh, found Khan.
Yeah, it doesn't have a lot of mana. Yeah, so probably not going to go for this fight, which is why he decides he's going to move his way out. No flash available for the Aurelia, and Khan had to use his as well to get that pushback, so both these top laners playing a little bit more reserved. Now Marta and Teddy.
Here we go again.
Just going to go straight back into that mid lane.
It's like a pendulum.
Yeah, it feels like Groundhog Day. We had a bit of that in the last game as well, with just stuff being repeated over and over again.
But here we go. This time, Sion is here at the same time.
Hey, Canyon's here as well.
No. Sion has to go top. Hold on. Hold on.
Okay, do some more table setting. As
hold on.
Fake is going to...
top.
Abyssal Voyage to get him there?
No.
No, I'm not going to have
That'd
the
be too
R
fast.
buttons. No R buttons pressed. Damn it. I just like it when stuff happens, LS. That's what I like. Showmaker just walks up and uses his W.
All is okay again.
That was the button press. Didn't even auto attack. Love interactive champions. Is Nuclear going to be trading here with Teddy just momentarily. True Shot Barrage once again going to go wide. Teddy's shown that he's very good at missing those so far, but he's been throwing them out off cooldown just because he can. 40% CDR has been built up by this Ezreal now, so he's very comfortable. Teleport back to the mid lane as Nuclear just wants to keep picking up these waves that SKT are throwing at them over and over again.
All right. So, I mean, they are scaling with that Infernal Drake.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That is continuing to tick. Aurelia has been sitting on these 2 ruby crystals forever. So, Nuggery probably very close to an item completion now.
Yeah, it might be the Hydra option, Titanic variety that he could be going for. Or could be going for that Sterix a little bit earlier on as Canyon. Very squishy, has to be careful. Another True Shot Barrage just flies off into the ether as Hoyt looking a bit aggressive, but it's Showmaker that dives through first. Good double knock up there from Marta for the disengage as SKT get their second Drake of the game, but now looking for more. Khan diving forward, but Hoyt's got the Devour. The fun is over button has been pressed, and DAMWON disengage. Okay, Khan comes in with the accelerated shock blast, but the slowdown does come through. Nuggery not going to land that stun, but finally, the outer turret falls in the mid lane, and SKT want to make it 2. It's a 2-for-1 special here in the mid lane as they do take that one down as well.
I feel like I'm watching the movie Bandersnatch again. I finally found the right path.
You did. He just had to... Oh, no, I don't want to give any spoilers away. I almost spoiled the whole end of the film.
The right path was finally able to progress after 2 hours, so...
Yeah. I mean, I was watching that movie for 3 hours because I didn't realize that actually I'd got to the end already, and I was going around in circles finding stuff that I hadn't seen yet. I'm a completionist, you know? So, like, I'm playing the RPG and I'm getting every single item on the map, and I felt like Bandersnatch, like, kept me there for 3 hours just because I wanted to see every bit of the movie possible.
Yep.
Oh, frustrating. Liked it, though. Enjoyed the film.
I did.
I'm a huge fan of Black Mirror, though, so I was ready to like it going in.
I think it was so innovative, and I think that's potentially the future of some Netflix flicks,
I think so.
You know, so...
Did you do you ever read Goosebumps? Choose Your
I
Own Adventures?
loved Goosebumps.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude.
Man, kids made fun of me in school for reading that.
Really? That was like on the top of the Scholastic book list like every single time for me when I was in primary school. I had so many of those books. That and Animorphs, man.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, dude.
We're old.
Yeah, we are old. We are old. Well, I'm much older than you, so...
It's all right.
Don't worry, you're not there yet. You're not there yet. It gets worse.
Oh, no, stop. Oh, no. All right.
Well, we were talking about...
Oh, you're talking about age.
Yeah, we were talking about Goosebumps and aging, and I feel like that's about what's relevant at the moment, because we're all aging, as this game is basically not doing very much. Bottom lane outer turret falls, but that was about time that one fell down, and SKT are now trading, looking for vision, looking for control of this map, and Cleared wants to get rid of Nuggery, but of course, he thought about doing something proactive and decided that's not what this game is all about. This game is about vying for vision and not really getting too much done. Well, at least SKT have evened out the Drakes, even though one of them is that Ocean.
That is the highlight, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is...
I'm stretching, man. I'm looking for stuff. This is supposed to be, like, what's Jin Air Genji? What are they going to do now? Oh, we've had so much downtime in this game. They'll be like, oh, no, we can make it better. Showmaker going to get attacked here on the top side, and there it is. Canyon going to jump off early as Marta was blocking it already, and now the team fight's broken out in earnest. But it's really good from SKT so far, actually fighting as a unit now, and Showmaker's whole health bar is gone and can't get anything done. Faker just looking for the taunt, has the flash available as Canyon gets smashed down with the combos from Teddy. Still, Arcane shifting forward, and they bully them out of the way of this inner turret. And SKT, the proactive play finally comes, and it looks good.
Yeah, the SKT is sort of like the two walls that are just closing in on you, and it's the inevitable death.
C3PO.
Yeah.
Help us. But the base is now broken. Top lane inhibitor turret has been destroyed, and Nuguri's taking so much poke on the back end. SKT's comp certainly does that one very, very well. Now they're looking for potentially heading towards this Baron before finally taking out their first inhibitor. Good flick back onto Faker, but he's not too worried. He's got that magic damage shield. They've got all of the vision that they could possibly want. This Baron's looking like it could be an option here despite not picking up the kills, as that back was scary from Faker, but doesn't get cancelled.
They end up picking up themselves 2 turrets there. That was a nail-biting team fight. So SK Telecom managed to extend the gold lead for themselves a little bit further. But when you look at the items at the bottom, it didn't really change that much. So
no,
it's still going to be an even footing fight. And top inhibitor is the weakest of them all, especially when Baron is the major objective that you're trying to contest, because the enemy is always in close proximity to it.
I'm also just getting more and more frightened as Nuclear keeps getting more and more items, and Nuguri as well. I mean, he's going to have that Sterix relatively soon as, okay, True Shot Barrage going to stop the Abyssal Voyage from doing too much.
That's when you're on a plane and you think it's going to take off, and then they cancel it.
Yeah.
That's what that was.
I was about to make a reference to a certain airline company, but I'm not going to do that, not this time. As Faker on the bottom side of the map is just going to clear out these red dots. Chasing the red dots seems to be most of what this game has been about. I feel like this should be your favorite kind of game, Mr. Carthus player. Just killing the red dots on the map. There we go.
That's all you need to do is just press R. You gotta just locate the R key.
As long as you've killed enough red dots, then your R key is powered up to the level where you can just instantly win the game.
So,
hey, also, don't you have to hit people when they're at low health to get them Dark Harvesting stacks?
Yes.
Yeah, that's,
so you have to use your eyes.
That's part of the gameplay. Yeah. That's part of the gameplay.
That is a side quest.
Okay, cool. I like the side.
You don't
quest.
have to hit Q though.
No, you don't.
No.
Oh,
just ask Tyler 1.
Lay waste is actually a waste, as it turns out. All right, SKT now sieging here in the mid lane. No Baron being looked at just yet. Soul Vision basically there for SKT, but look at the poke. It's landing. They can actually get these sieges working. These minion waves can't actually be dealt with, and that's the Demolish proc. In goes DAMWON once again for this team fight. Can they actually make it work? It looks like the answer is no, as Canyon gets torn apart. Nuguri in the back line ain't strong enough yet, and it's the Khan double kill to start this one up. Gargoyle Stone Plate ain't as good as having an actual gargoyle on your team, and Showmaker will get taken out as well. Faker, Zombie Scion, not good enough to get rid of him. Now the base is broken, and SKT may just take it all.
Faker has teleport. He's going to be able to TP to a minion here. I think this is probably the end of the game. Teleport to the minion, get Sork Elixir, deal the extra 2 damage to the turret.
Yep.
Hoyt and Nuclear, they're trying to hold on.
He's doing it desperately, but Nuclear can't quite pick up any just yet. Marta's going to be taken down, but the damage is still there. Hoyt so low, and Nuclear finally getting some of this respect. The taunt comes in. See you later, Kai'Sa, and SKT have bucked the trend. They fought back into game number 3 in 2019.
Life comes at you fast, that SKT series.
Yeah, it does.
That just...
Whoa.
I was not expecting this ending.
No.
I was getting cozy in the chair. I thought we were in for another 20 minutes, couple of Barons, maybe an Elder. But
some proactive play. Yeah, some proactive play actually came out of this SKT squad, and they team fought actually beautifully with a composition that was more good at standing around and getting the poke in there. The Scion engages from Showmaker looked like at certain points things could have tipped over, but the Kai'Sa potential just never really came out. We never saw the nuclear show in the end game, and that is why it's SKT that are now taking the bow.
Yeah, that was very anticlimactic. The whole part of this was waiting for Kai'Sa and Aurelia to get their items, and then once they did, before Aurelia had a chance to recall, Sion tried to engage.
Yep.
That fight didn't accomplish anything. And then when the team fights did start unfolding, SK Telecom was just out-muscling DAMWON. They ended up coming out ahead.
Yeah, that is going to be the victory for SKT, and now they're looking forward to their matchup against Griffin. I know a lot of you at home really were riding on the fact that SKT needs to win this game so we get the right level of hype out of that Griffin versus SKT match. And maybe now with the fact that, you know, they faltered a little bit, they dropped game number 2, and this game definitely wasn't the cleanest, still a victory.